Kristin, Kristin, Brewer, Brewer.
You may proceed, Mrs. Wright.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, ma'am. Could you please tell us your occupation?
I'm a supervisor with the Osceola County Sheriff's Office.
Okay. What type of supervisor?
Patrol supervisor.
Okay. How long have you worked with the Osceola County Sheriff?
It's over 16 years.
Okay. What sort of assignments have you had with Osceola?
I started out in patrol. I spent several years in the traffic unit. I spent about a year and a half in a tactical unit, plain clothes, and then back to patrol when I was promoted. And most recently, still in patrol as collateral duty, handling the canine.
All right. Tell us a little bit about that collateral duty handling a canine. How long have you been doing that for the Osceola County Sheriff's Office?
Since 2005. It's not my primary duty. My primary duty is a patrol supervisor, and the collateral duty is handling the canine on-call as needed basis.
All right. Would this be canine Bones?
Yes, ma'am.
You have been Bones handler since 2005?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you know the background of Bones prior to your obtaining him?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay. And where did Bones come from?
The Orange County Sheriff's Office.
Okay. Prior to the arrival of Bones at the Osceola County Sheriff's Office, did you yourself do any training?
Yes, ma'am. It was kind of a hobby for me to train dogs in protection, obedience, and article tracking.
Your Honor, may we have a moment?
You may. You may proceed.
All right. Sergeant Brewer, we were talking about any sort of background or training you had with the handling of canines prior to Bones' arrival at the Osceola County Sheriff's Office in 2005.
Correct.
I missed your answer because of the delay, but can you repeat that for me, please?
I did canine training as kind of a hobby, which was protection, obedience, and article tracking.
All right. Independent of your position with the Osceola County Sheriff?
That's correct.
Okay. So in 2005, when the Sheriff's Office acquired Bones, were you the person initially assigned to train with him?
Yes.
Was it your understanding at that point that Bones himself had already undergone a period of training?
That's correct.
Okay. Are you familiar with Jason Forgy with the Orange County Sheriff's Office?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When Bones was acquired by the Osceola County Sheriff, did his paperwork, training paperwork, go with him?
Yes, I have everything that Deputy Forgy had provided to me for his training. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you the individual who is then responsible for maintaining the record of whether it's veterinary records or training records for canine Bones?
Yes.
Okay. Are you the individual who has created those records since 2005 during the training and operation outcomes with Bones?
Yes, ma'am.
If I may approach the witness, Your Honor.
You may.
I will be showing you what's been marked as OJ for identification. Have you take a look at this composite exhibit and tell me if those are true and accurate copies of the majority of Bones records, excluding veterinary records.
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, at this point, I would seek to introduce the composite exhibit OJ for identification into evidence.
What says the defense?
Just renew all previous motions and objections.
May I see the exhibit for a second, please? Okay, they will be received in evidence of objections as states numbered.
163.
Sergeant Brewer, what sort of training did you do with Bones upon his arrival at the Osceola County Sheriff?
The first basic thing we need to do is bond with the dog, get to know the dog. Spent several weeks just playing ball with him. I contacted, Deputy 4G was in contact with me, and he met with me to let me know any problems that he has as far as his temperament or how he was trained. And we actually met a few times going over how he did his cadaver searches.
Right. After that initial period of bonding and then you're getting to know or understand Bones' methodology, did the two of you engage in regular training sessions?
Yes, ma'am.
How often?
Sometimes it was several hours a week.
Okay. When you put Bones through those sessions, did you record each of those instances?
Record as in writing?
Write it in a training log, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. At some point during the training process, did you and Bones attend schools that were independent of the Osceola County Sheriff?
Yes, ma'am, several.
Okay. Can you tell us the first training program that you and Bones attended as a team?
The first school that we attended was a school put on by Andy Redmond, which was a basic cadaver course.
Right. Andy Redmond is somebody that is recognized in your field as an authority on cadaver dog training.
Yes, ma'am, you could say that.
If I may approach the witness.
You may.
One of the documents, actually the top document on states 163 in evidence. Can you identify what that is?
That's the certificate that myself and Bones received from the completion of the course from Andy Redmond in
When
Marshall
did it-
County.
When did that take place?
November 7th through the 13th of 2005.
What was required of you and Bones in that course?
They had to make sure that the dog was familiar with the odor, was able to find odor, was able to give his final trained alert on odor.
Okay. That's a multi-day course?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What sort of environments is Bones exposed to in that course?
As far as, you mean search areas or?
Yes, ma'am.
Woods, high grass, clay, dirt, pavement, again, normal grass. That's about it.
All right. During those training sessions, do you know where the target odor is located?
Some of them we did, some of them we did not.
All right. Did you record in writing Bones' performance at the Canine Specialty Search Associates Basic Cadaver Search School?
Yes, there should be a section for the school.
Okay. In that part of the record, would you have indicated whether or not Bones had any false alerts?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. If he had any misses,
Correct.
and if he found the target object finds?
Correct.
You record all of those things.
That's correct.
Right. Do you recall Bones' performance at that school?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what was it?
He performed fairly well. The instructor said that they saw no problem in his searching ability.
All right. Did he have any false alerts?
Not that I can recall, no, ma'am.
All right. You would have recorded if he did?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he have any misses?
I don't believe so, but to the best of my recollection, no.
Okay. You would have recorded if he did?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And was he able to find all of the targets that it was intended for him to find?
Yes.
What sort of training aids have you used with Bones?
Bones has been trained on human blood, placenta, human bone, human tissue, teeth, semen. That's about it.
Okay. You said that you and Bones attended several schools.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Can you tell the members of the jury what the next training school was that you attended?
I would have to probably refer to the certificates that I have.
Your Honor, may the witness refresh her recollection as to the order of the schools with the records that she brought with her?
Yes, you may.
I believe the next one was a water seminar from November 2nd to November 4th of 2007.
All right. And what is Bones required to do, or what are the two of you required to do at that seminar?
In a water seminar, all your targets are in the water, either on top of the water, on shoreline, or submerged in the water. And basically, you have to put the dog on a boat and be able to take him out to the area. And he needs to be able to locate the source in the water and be able to alert to it.
All right. And when we're talking about a target or a source, we're talking about some form of human remains.
Correct.
Were a variety of sources utilized at both this seminar and the prior that you discussed?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you keep a written record in your logs of Bones' performance at the water human remains detection in water seminar in November of 2007?
Yes, ma'am. It should be in the logbook.
All right. This is where you would have recorded whether or not he had any false alerts,
Yes, ma'am.
any misses,
Correct.
and whether or not he was able to locate all of the targets in water in this one.
Correct.
Do you recall whether or not Bones had any false alerts?
No, ma'am. Not that I recall.
Okay. Any misses?
No, ma'am.
And was Bones able to locate all of the intended targets?
Yes.
Okay. If I show you the next document in this series. Can you identify that for the members of the jury?
It's a certificate of completion for myself and Canine Bones for a seminar from November 2nd to November 4th of 2007. Human remains detection in water.
All right. There's a photograph on there. Is that him?
Yes, it is.
In between these training opportunities provided to you and Bones, you continue to train
Yes,
as
ma'am.
well as work as needed?
That's correct.
Okay. During that process, do you use a variety of items that are referred to as distractors or distraction devices to ensure that he will continually not alert to material that you don't want him to alert to?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What sort of distractors or distraction sources have you utilized in training Bones?
We've used different toys that he may be attracted to, dog treats, food, and animal remains.
Okay. How about other animal scents such as urine or feces?
We have not trained specifically using both of those, but he's more than likely exposed to that almost every search.
Okay. Are there usually multiple dogs that are called out on searches?
Yes.
Okay. And when he goes to these schools, is he exposed to multiple dogs in these environments?
Yes, ma'am.
When you talk about food being used to train him off of, so he's not alerting to any food sources, would that include dairy products, cheese? Do you remember?
I can't recall specifically.
Okay. Have you ever had any problems since you've been Bones' handler with Bones alerting to food sources of any kind?
No, ma'am.
When was Bones' next formal training session, aside from the regular maintenance training that you do?
I believe it was the advanced land in March of 2009.
Okay, and where was that held?
Various locations in Osceola County.
And who sponsored that?
It was an organization called Country Class Canines, Lisa Higgins' organization.
All right, and who is that?
She's also pretty much an authority on and a master trainer with cadaver dogs.
Okay, somebody that your discipline recognizes as authoritative with long history of successful training
Yes,
of
ma'am.
canines.
Yes.
Okay. What was required of Bones during that training period?
Same as the others. Usually consisted of buried, hanging, surface. I don't believe there's any water involved in this one.
right.
Different depths, different training aids, different sources at various levels of decomp.
All right. Now, when you say hanging, what do you mean?
We actually put the source in a tree, usually.
Okay. Can you tell the members of the jury what Bones' final trained alert is?
His final train alert is a sit.
Okay. If you have a source that's hanging in a tree, how would Bones indicate to you that he has detected the odor of human remains that are likely above him somewhere?
Normally what he does is he tries to pinpoint it on the ground first. Once he realizes that it's not on the ground, he will actually lift his head up to try to sniff above him. He usually can't see it. We try not to let him be able to see the source, but he's able to determine that that source is actually hanging in the tree, and he will sit right below it.
What was the date of that training?
It was 3/19 of '09 was the completion date. It's also his NDDA certification date.
We'll have you explain that in a second. Let me get some of the documents. Documents titled repeat that for me.
Country class canines.
Are those that are associated with Bones training that you've described?
Yes, ma'am.
Including certificates of completion and his performance record at the seminar.
That's correct.
Okay, you mentioned there was some other certification associated with this training program.
Yes, this is NNDDA certification.
And what does that stand for?
It's National Narcotic Detector Dog Association, but it has a branch for cadaver certifications.
All right. This is, as the name implies, a national group that certifies specialty dogs in all disciplines.
I know cadaver and narcotics. I'm not sure about bomb work.
Okay. When did Bones attend that training opportunity?
It was at the end of that seminar that we discussed. The first certification was 3/19 of '09.
I may again approach the witness. Let me take a look at this series of documents from those submitted as a composited evidence. Are those the NND? You'll have to repeat that for me.
NNDDA.
Would those be Bones certificates and performance records from that seminar?
Yes, it is.
How long does the certification by the NNDDA last?
I believe it's documented in the certification book. I can't be for certain. It says 1 year from the certification date.
Has Bones been trained on what I will call residual odor, where either a body or some other type of human remains were placed on a surface or in a location, that item was then removed, and then Bones was asked to determine whether or not the odor of human remains had stayed at a particular location?
Yes, ma'am, he has.
All right. How was that accomplished? Do you recall?
We've had a couple training opportunities where we actually took whole human blood, put it on ceramic tile, and wiped it clean, and he was able to determine which tile the blood had been located on. He's also had a couple training opportunities where bodies had been, and they had been removed by the medical examiner, and we actually trained on those locations also. And he was able to alert to the location where a body had been located at one point.
Okay. What sort of reward, if any, is Bones given when he makes a successful find?
Tennis ball.
Is he ever rewarded with food?
No, ma'am.
Why not?
Because he's given food or treats just as for being a dog, so his favorite reward is his tennis ball.
Okay. In your records, you not only include the maintenance training where you know where the source of the odor of human remains comes from, but you also keep track of Bones' real-world performance when you all go out on calls. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Have you had the opportunity to review those records to determine which of them involve real-world calls?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have that information available to you that you could tell the jury what dates Bones was called out on a search and what the results of that were?
Of successful searches?
Successful or unsuccessful?
Yes, ma'am. They're in the book.
All right. If I could draw your attention to August 23rd, 2005.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have a record of Bones being called out for a search?
Yes.
Okay. Did Bones alert on that day?
No, he did not.
Okay. Was the area in question nonetheless dug and some item was found?
Yes.
What was found?
A deceased dog.
If I could draw your attention to May 1st, 2006.
Okay.
Was Bones called out to a location to determine whether or not the scent of human remains was present?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you receive an alert on that day?
No.
Was the area nonetheless dug,
It was searched.
searched, and was anything found?
There was a dead animal located.
If I can draw your attention to May 10th of 2006. Was Bones called out on that date?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did he alert to the scent of human remains?
No, he did not.
Okay. Was the area nonetheless searched or dug?
It was dug.
And was anything located?
A deceased dog.
If I could draw your attention to May 5th of 2006. Did I say September 5th?
May. Right?
Oh, sorry, I transposed those. September 5th of 2006.
You said 9/6?
9506.
9506. Okay.
All right. Was Bones called out on that date to determine whether or not the scent of human remains was present?
Yes, he was.
Okay. Did you get an alert from Bones on that day?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Was the area nonetheless searched or dug?
It was searched.
Okay. Was anything found?
A dead possum.
If I can draw your attention to June 6th of 2009. Was Bones called to determine whether or not human remains were present in any particular area?
Yes, he was.
Okay. Did you receive an alert from Bones on that date?
No.
Okay. Was the area nonetheless searched or dug?
It was searched.
Was anything found?
Small animal remains.
All right. Have you had occasion during your tenure with Bones for Bones to falsely alert on any particular occasion?
No, ma'am.
Have you had situations where Bones has alerted and human remains were located?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If I could draw your attention to March 31st of 2007. Okay. Do your records or does your memory reflect that Bones was called to a location on that date?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did Bones alert to anything in particular on that day?
Yes, he did.
Okay. Can you tell the members of the jury the circumstances of that alert?
He located several small bone fragments from a skeleton that had been removed, and they were searching for the remaining pieces of the skeleton. He was able to find a couple pieces of skeleton.
Okay. Based on Bones alerts.
Yes.
If I can draw your attention to October 8th of 2007.
Yes, ma'am.
Was that another call that Bones went out on?
Yes, it was.
Can you tell the members of the jury the circumstances of that call?
We had information that there was possibly a body buried in the woods that had been there for approximately 2 to 3 weeks.
And what happened?
He was able to search the area and alerted exactly on the area where the body was later dug up.
If I can draw your attention to October 28th of 2007.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you and Bones called out on that date?
Yes.
Can you tell the members of the jury the circumstances of that call?
There was an elderly female that had not been heard from in some time. They called us out to do a sniff of the exterior of the residence, and he was able to alert just on the other side of the wall where they later located the elderly female deceased.
If I could call your attention to November 30th of 2007. Did you and Bones receive a call out that date?
Yes.
Okay. Where did that take place?
In a landfill in Highlands County.
Okay. As the name implies, is this a landfill of garbage?
Yes.
All manner of garbage?
Yes. Just
Okay. Did you deploy Bones into the landfill?
yes, ma'am. It was several days.
Several days?
Several days searching.
Okay. Did Bones alert to any items in the landfill?
Yes, he did.
What did he alert to?
He alerted to a comforter that was a baby had been born on that was later discarded in the trash. He was able to find the comforter that she had been born on.
Can I draw your attention to March 26th of 2008? When you find that, could you tell me if you and Bones were called out to conduct a search on that date?
Yes.
Okay. Where did that take place?
It was off the 528 in Orange County.
Okay. Can you tell the members of the jury what had occurred during that call out?
A skeleton had been found, or at least a human skull had been found previously by someone mowing the grass. We were called out to search the area for additional bones, and he was able to alert on some additional bones in the area.
Let me draw your attention to May 14th of 2009.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you and Bones called out to a water search?
That's correct.
Okay, can you tell the members of the jury the circumstances of that event?
A young male had not made it back to shore and was presumed that he had drowned. We did a boat search of a large lake. He alerted to a specific area where they dropped a buoy, and later on the dive team was able to recover his body in that area.
Can I draw your attention to February 9th of 2010, where you and Bones called out to participate in a search or rescue? Search.
Yes.
Okay, can you tell the members of the jury the circumstances of that event?
A body had been burned in the area. He was able to alert to the area within a few feet of where the body was located.
Okay, and finally, December 20th of 2010, where you and Bones called out to participate in a search.
Yes.
Okay, can you tell the members of the jury the results of that?
The information was that 2 bodies had been buried in the same hole. They had been there for over 2 years. It was an orange grove. He was able to alert in the area, which was later dug and both bodies recovered.
Since Bones is a single-purpose dog, how often does he get called out to participate in searches?
Quite often, we do a lot of out-of-county searches. We've actually been out of the state also.
Is it your experience with Bones that many of the searches result in no alert at all?
That's correct.
How is it that you are able to tell when Bones has some interest in an area prior to his trained final alert of a sit?
Well, because I've worked for him for such a long time, he does give me some indicators. Sometimes he will pick his head up to try to pinpoint where the area is. His tail will fluff up bigger if he's in odor. He may paw at the surface dirt to try to get a better scent of what may be below it. He will leave me and not come back when he's called because he's so interested in finding the odor that he will actually stay there trying to pinpoint where it is.
Okay. Would these be changes in behavior that you note prior to when he alerts, if he is ultimately to alert at all?
Yeah, that's correct.
Your Honor, may we approach?
You may. You may proceed.
Thank you. Sergeant Brewer, were you called to assist in an investigation regarding the disappearance of Caylee Marie Anthony?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall where you responded to?
Address on Hope Spring Drive.
Okay. Did you understand that to be the address of the grandparents of Caylee Marie Anthony?
After my arrival, yes.
Okay. What was the date and time of your arrival?
7/17,
2008?
2008. It was approximately 8 o'clock in the evening.
Okay. At that time of year, was it still light enough for you to conduct whatever search was being requested?
It was pretty dark already. There was a little bit of light left when I got there, but not much during the search.
Okay. Does that inhibit your dog's ability to conduct the search?
No.
Okay. When you arrived, what did you do first with Bones?
when I arrived, I met with Deputy Forgy, and he said the search area was going to be the backyard. We initially went back there without the dog, and he said, "This is your search area." He said that we just want the backyard searched, and that was the only information that he gave me.
All right. Based on the response you just gave, I take it you were not told whether any prior searches conducted by K9 resulted in an alert.
No, I did ask Deputy Forgy if he had run his dog, which he said he did, but that was the only information that he gave.
Okay. Why was that information important to you?
Just so I know if there had been another dog back there.
Okay. If you would explain to the members of the jury what you did with Bones on July 17th of 2008.
We walked back to the backyard with Bones on lead as we went through the gate, which if you're looking at the residence would be on the left side of the residence. We went through the gate. The entire backyard was fenced in. Just past the gate, I put Bones's search collar on, which is a heavier collar, indication to him that we're going to search. I took him off lead and gave him his command to do his search of the area.
Okay.
He immediately did a quick search of the yard. He went around where there was a swimming pool, and then he went back towards the screened-in porch. He checked a couple corners of the area. His nose was down. He spent approximately 3 to 4 minutes searching in the backyard. I saw that there was an area of interest that he kept going back to and sniffing pretty hard. He finally came back to that same area after making another lap of the yard and gave a final trained indication in one location in the backyard.
Okay. What indication was given?
He sat.
Okay. This is the trained final alert that you described earlier?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall where in the yard you got the trained final alert from Bones?
Yes.
Okay. If I may publish to the jury 43 in evidence.
You may.
Sergeant Brewer, does the photograph displayed in 43 in evidence show the area that you were just describing as the location of the trained final alert from Bones?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The monitor in front of you is a telestrator. Can you indicate to the members of the jury where you got the trained final alert?
It's basically in that area right there.
Okay. What happens after you get the trained final alert?
I had put Bones up and spoke to Deputy Forgy, who indicated to me at that time that his dog had alerted and within probably 6 to 8 feet of where Bones' alert was.
Okay. Do you return the next day?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When you return the next day, had it become apparent to you that the surface had been disturbed in some fashion?
Yes.
What did you see?
There was a lot of dirt, mulch, pavers. There was several crime scene units in the backyard working, changed the landscape quite a bit.
All right. So it's your understanding that the members of the Orange County Sheriff's Office had been disturbing the dirt?
Yes, they were present upon my arrival.
Okay. Did you run Bones through the same process on that date?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what result did you receive then?
No alerts.
Okay. Do you have some opinion as to why that occurred on day 2?
Whatever he was alerting to could have been moved or destroyed or dissipated because of all the work that had been done. Or they may just not have dug enough to find what may have been below the surface.
All right. Thank you. I have no other questions of the witness, Your Honor.
Cross-examination?
May it please the court? Mr. Reagan? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Sergeant Brewer.
Morning.
Before we get into what you did in this case, I want to ask you something so we could kind of clarify something for the jury. The alerts that a cadaver dog does, they're not, you don't give individual commands to find me some bones, correct? Or find me decomp fluid, or find me blood, correct?
That's correct.
And it's just one command
Right.
when you deploy the dog. And many times, well, actually, let me rephrase that. A dog can alert on fluid or something decomposing from a live person, could they not?
Yes, if it's out of the body.
Anything out of the body that is now decomposing, even though the person's alive, the dog could alert to.
Yes.
Okay. So if I have a drop of blood from a fingernail or something comes out, that blood begins to decompose and the dog could alert to that.
That's correct.
In fact, when you are trained to deploy dogs on vehicles, for example, for training, your training tells you not to use old cars because you don't know the history of those cars, right?
We try to use something, unknown source, known that's not contaminated.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
We try to use something that we know may not have.
Right, something that you know the history of, because you don't know if this car's been in an accident, right?
Correct.
You don't know if somebody cut their finger or had any bleeding in any location.
Correct.
And you don't know if someone bled on a rag and that was thrown in the trunk or something like that.
Right.
Okay. So there's any number of scenarios that makes the dog more of a tool as opposed to a conclusive indicator of human decomposition, especially when you don't have a body.
Right. He's trained to find the strongest source, whatever it might be.
Okay. Now, I'd like to talk to you about the work you did in this case. Can we? I'm showing you now State's Exhibit 43. I'm sorry, State's Evidence 43. And this, can we publish that to the jury, Your Honor?
Yes.
Is that up? Oh. I'm getting better as we go along. Now, this is an area you circled where you had indicated your dog alerted to,
Yes.
correct? You also testified that Sergeant Forgy had informed you that his dog alerted 6 to 8 feet away from this.
Correct.
Where did he indicate to you that his dog had alerted?
He didn't show me specifically.
Okay. It couldn't have been 6 to 8 feet to the right, correct?
You'd have, I can't.
Can you look at
answer.
the photo there and see if there's anything that would block 6 to 8 feet in that direction?
It's not to scale without seeing it. I can't.
From your
I can't
memory
say.
of the backyard, was the house that little house blocking 6 to 8 feet away?
It could have been.
Okay. Deputy Forgy didn't inform you that his dog went in the little house and alerted there, correct?
No.
Sustained.
Now, your understanding from where you indicated 6 to 8 feet would either be close to the sidewalk here, correct?
He didn't indicate which direction.
I know, I'm going to give you different possibilities. It could be closer to the sidewalk there, right? To the right?
Speculation.
Overall,
In this direction, correct?
It could be.
And it could also be this direction, correct?
Could be.
And that would be closer to the swimming pool?
I believe so. I'd have to say a photo to say for sure.
Your memory of that backyard, would this area be closer to the swimming pool?
I know the swimming pool would have been behind us at that point.
Right. The swimming pool's not in this direction,
Correct.
and it's not over here.
Correct.
It's more over here. In that direction, correct?
I think the first arrow would have been more.
Yeah, the thing went a little haywire on me at the end, but right in this direction, correct?
From my recollection, yes.
Now, you were there for 2 days, right?
Yes.
And you never deployed your dog inside the house, did you?
No.
Were you instructed you couldn't do that?
No. I actually was working with the Orange County Sheriff's Office, so I basically deployed where they had asked me to.
What about the back patio where, do you recall a patio before you enter into the house?
Screened-in porch, yes.
Yes, screen-in porch. Were you allowed to deploy your dog in there?
They didn't ask me to.
Did you, though?
No.
Now, the 2 days you were there, you never took the dog in the house to maybe see if there might be some evidence of decomposition in the home?
No. But again, not my case, so I did the searches that they had asked me to.
Are you aware if any cadaver dog searches were ever done inside the home?
I can't answer for that. I'm not sure if Deputy Forgy did.
Okay. So the answer is no, you're not aware of any searches that were inside the home.
Not that I was advised of.
Okay. If I can have just one moment, Judge.
Right?
I have nothing further. Thank you, Sergeant Brewer.
Thank you.
Redirect. May the sergeant be excused. Thank you, Sergeant. You may be excused. Statement call the next witness.
Osborne.